Hey everybody, it's Rick Silva with Ask Rick Silva. I'm going to make two videos with one introduction. This is the introduction. So we're going to talk about smoking pork shoulder, and we're going to talk about smoking brisket. Some of the little tricks that I've learned over the years. I'm not a butcher and I'm not a chef. I'm just a guy who's cooked hundreds and hundreds of world-class briskets and pulled pork. So a couple things to understand about brisket and pulled pork. Pork shoulder, pork butt, whatever you want to call it, is this area. Brisket is this area on the cow. So what we need to understand about fibrous meats, when the cow or the pig, when they're walking, this turns into almost a muscle. It's very, very fibrous. If you don't have the time, and I mean a lot of time, to smoke it properly, don't smoke it. Then you want to smoke a steak or something, but you want to smoke pulled pork, so pork shoulder, pork butt, or you want to smoke brisket, you need to take the time. So later on in the video, I'll explain how I do the temperatures. I just want to tell you a few things right now. No matter what anyone says in a video, including this one, someone's going to tell you the opposite. But there are a few things people agree on, and one of them is generally pulled pork, 203 degrees, you pull it, and brisket, you cook to 205 degrees. Generally, everyone agrees on that. Some people pull at 190 for both. I pull pork, 203, brisket, 205 degrees. Rule of thumb, give or take, 1 hour to 90 minutes per pound. So you simply, if you're cooking a 12-pound brisket, it's going to take 12 to 16 or 17 hours. Pork shoulder, usually 5 to 7 pounds, is going to take you, I still would cook it 9 to 12 hours at a minimum to really break it down and really make it tender. Okay, so everything else I'm going to show you is going to be during the video. I just want to make sure that you understand going in, it's a very fibrous meat. It can become the most tender meat you will ever eat in your life if you take the time. 1 hour to 90 minutes per pound. Okay? It will be as tough as shoe leather if you don't take the time. Again, if you're in a hurry, cook something else. Low and slow with pulled pork and brisket. Okay, on to the smoking. Hey everybody, it's Rick Silva, tools of the trade for smoking brisket. Okay, so we'll just run down the list. Big tray. After 8 to 10 hours of smoking the brisket, I'm going to wrap it, so I get big tinfoil trays. Costco has the Reynolds heavy duty aluminum foil. I rub my briskets with mustard. Then again, those of you that know, I smoke with Rectech grills and I really like their rubs. This is their Bangin' Brisket rub. Bangin' Brisket rub. You can also use Montreal steak seasoning. If you've ever heard of Montreal steak seasoning, it's fantastic. This is what I primarily use when I smoke prime rib. And then we need some sharp knives. We need to cut off some of the fat on the brisket that will not render. And it's literally as hard as this granite counter that I'm standing in front of, and I'll talk to you a little about paring some of that off. I use two different knives. This is a Cutco knife, very sharp. And then when I'm actually getting ready to serve the brisket, this is the big dog. That's my shun. That's my shun knife. If you could see it, I don't know if you can see it in there. Shun, if it'll focus. Oh, it doesn't focus, whatever. Shun. Awesome knife. And then last but not least, the cotton lined gloves that you simply slip your nitrile gloves over so you can take a lot more heat, so you can move meat around. You can just handle the meat, whether it's on the smoker or in your kitchen. The amount of heat you can take with these gloves is amazing. So there are your tools for the trade for smoking brisket. Here we go. Hey everybody, it's Rick Silva. We're now going to do some trimming on this brisket. So I don't like to do a lot of trimming, and you can see this fat, how nice and tender it is. But you always have fat on the brisket like this piece here. That's literally as hard as a rock. This is not going to render down no matter how long you cook it. You can see how it's a brighter white here. So I'm gonna remove all of this. And then on the other side, I mean, it's like rock hard. So we want to remove that. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I do. So a little bit right here. And then this piece, see if I can lift this up to show you. This piece right here. I'm going to remove this. So I'm going to come back. I'll trim this off and then we'll come back and I'll show you what I did, and I'll show you how it looks when it's trimmed down. Be right back. Okay, that's the last of it. So let me show you what I did. Those really, really hard pieces across here, completely removed it. And then on the other side, I'll flip it around this way so you can see it. That big, giant piece that was right inside of here, I'll show it to you. It's right here. So this is hard as a rock. It's not gonna render down no matter how much you smoke it, so I removed it. So the piece was here, and then the piece on the other side. So I'll get everything ready, and now we're going to rub it, and we'll be done with this brisket. Now I don't inject. You're gonna see the juiciest meat you've ever seen when this is done. I don't use a stick burner, I use a Rectech pellet smoker. And definitely do not need to inject. That's it. Now the reason why I'm doing the fat side up is because I smoke these capped down, so I do the rub fat side up, then when I flip it, it's ready to go onto the smoker. So on my brisket, I'm using Bangin' Brisket Rub by Rectech, and I have another bottle because this one's not gonna make it through 2 briskets, but here we go. That's it. Pretty simple. I'm going to show you one more trick when I flip this. So let's flip it over, and I'm going to show you a really cool trick. Now this trick that I'm going to show you is going to help you know how to cut the brisket, because it's going to be very hard to see the grain after it's been smoked for 15 or 16 hours. So let me turn this beast over and show you what I mean. So just for terminology, this triangle comes up like this, and there's a triangle. This is the flat. So if you ever go buy a brisket flat, this is what you're buying. And then this over here, this really, really fatty end, all of this meat under here, that comes underneath, that's underneath the triangle, and underneath the triangle on this side, this is the point. This is what we're gonna make what I call meat candy or burnt ends out of. Now, here's the big trick. Hopefully this will come out in the video. We want to always cut across the grain. So the grain's different in every piece of meat. This one, the grain is going this direction. You can see the lines here going this direction. And when we slice the brisket, we want to slice across the grain. When it's cooked, it's going to be harder to see the grain. So what we can do is we can put a starter cut, and then we're going to follow that cut all the way through the brisket. So because the grain is right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this beast. This is about a 13 pounder here, and I'm going to follow the grain, and I'm going to cut right across the grain just like this. just like that. Now this is also going to get smoked, and I'll have this for breakfast. We're going to put that off to the side for right now. So that's a starter cut. So as we cut the brisket, let me hold this up so you can see it. At this angle, we're going to follow the meat all the way across, because again, it's harder to see the grain after the meat's been smoked. So let's do the mustard again. Breakfast. Okay. Okay. That's it. I'll see you again at the smoker. And for those of you that have been smoking a while, you know it's late at night. It's 11 o'clock right now. These are going to go on soon, and try to get them done by 4 p.m. tomorrow. Okay. See you soon. Okay, everybody, here is the Big Rec Tech. And we just placed both briskets. And it is about 11 o'clock at night, so I'm trying to not make too much noise, but there you go. Just to give you an idea how big these are. There's my hand. These are giant, 12 and a half, 13 pounds each. Put in the bed. Okay, so the next time you see these, they'll have been smoking for about 10 hours or so. See you soon. Okay, everybody, time to check on the brisket. So last time we were with you on camera, it was 11:30 or 12 p.m. It's now 9:30 in the morning. This will be my first check, so we're 10 hours in. Let's take a look. Waiting for the smoke to clear, literally. So we'll probably go about another hour, and then we're going to wrap these and really start to break down the fibers of the meat. Also, I wanted to show you, let's hop, skip, and jump around my tomato plants. I wanted to show you the type of pellets that I'm using for this one. I am using that right there, Traeger Texas beef. So it has oak, mesquite, and pecan in it. That's what we're using. Okay, we'll see you soon. Thanks. Hey everybody, it's now about 11:30 a.m. and I just wrapped the brisket. So we're at about 12 hours into the cook, and I wrapped both briskets in their own individual containers. Real quick on the temperature, it's at 225 now because I'm doing a dual cook, and the briskets are a little bit of ahead of the pulled pork. I want to try to get everything done on time. But I want to tell you that what I did overnight is I cooked the brisket at 180 degrees overnight. And then at the 10-hour mark, I bumped it to 215. And now at the 12-hour mark, I bumped it to 225, and I'll let it ride for another 3 or 4 hours, and then I'll figure out my temperatures, and if I want to maybe take it up to 250 to get it done. We've got 30 people coming over to the house tonight, and I need to get everything done by 3 o'clock, 3:30. So we'll see how it goes. Talk to you soon. Bye. Okay, everybody, the first brisket is done. It's 1:35 p.m. This started about 11:30 last night, so we're looking at 13 hours. I'm going to show you how to separate the point from the flat. We're going to wrap the flat, and we're going to wrap it in a towel. We're going to put it in the cooler, and then the point, we're going to cube the point to make burnt ends. So let's check it out. I haven't looked at it. The smell is amazing. Whew. There you go. I can't tip it because there's so much juice. People talk about briskets drying out. I don't know how they dry out briskets if they're using a pellet smoker, but this is where the lined gloves come into play, because this is going to be very hot. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pan, just in case you don't see it on camera. I'll try to get it on camera. I'm going to dump the juice in here. We're going to put the pieces of the point in here to soak in the juices. So probably going to make a mess, but that's part of smoking meat. So I don't know, anybody talks about making dry brisket. You can see the juice. That's a few cups of juice. This is not injected. I put nothing in there. That's the natural juices from the meat. The hardest part is right now picking up an extremely warm piece of meat and putting it on the cutting board. Whew. Yeah, that's warm. Whew. That is warm. Okay, now we're gonna separate the point from the flap. I do not pull the probe, okay? I leave the probe in because I don't want to let any juices out of the meat. We leave the probe in. Now, I'm going to show you a cool trick here. Because depending on how tender the meat is, sometimes we can shake it. We can literally shake it. And I could stick my fingers in there and almost pull it apart. Just squeezing, there's a triangle right here. And we're just gonna slide the knife through and then down towards the end. Here's the point, here's the flat. Okay, we're gonna wrap the flat. We're gonna wrap the flat, and the flat is going to go into the cooler, okay? Here's the flat. Just goes in a tinfoil tray. I'm gonna cover it and put it in the cooler, and I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, here's the point. We're gonna cube this, and I'm in a bit of a hurry because the other brisket's at 203 degrees right now, so I wanna be ready. So I'll show you a little bit of the cubing, and then I'll fast forward the video and you'll see the completed product. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna cube it. Some of these pieces are gonna be really, really fat and we're not gonna use them. But again, when people talk about dry brisket, I don't know how they could be, because I can squeeze another cup of water if I just press down on the meat. So if you do this wrap and everything I've showed you, you will have unbelievable brisket. This is going to be hot, but taste test. Wow. So good. Woo. Okay, so these pieces go where? Right in the juice. This is meat candy. I'm going to top this with Sweet Baby Ray's. I threw a couple of the really fat, that one's okay. So I'm gonna top this off with Sweet Baby Ray's, then this goes back on the smoker. For an hour. And then it'll be done. So these are the way I make burnt ends. You can certainly watch videos on YouTube and see other ways to do it. This is the way I do it. Meat candy right there. There you go. Now I'm going to top this off with Sweet Baby Ray's. Before I do, I actually have too much juice, so I'm going to pour a little bit out. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover it with Sweet Baby Ray's. This is what we call meat candy. Okay, so that's one completed brisket, top to bottom. Now I'm gonna wrap this, and this will go, I'm not gonna smoke it right now, but when I do, I'll show you. I'm gonna put it back on the smoker for 1 hour. But I have a little while before I'm gonna do that. Okay, so thanks for watching, be back soon. Okay everybody, we're in the home stretch, so I wanna show you this first. In the cooler, we have the brisket and the pulled pork. Everything's wrapped in towels. That's where the brisket and the pulled pork is. Don't want to let a lot of the heat out. We'll come over here and take a look at the burnt ends. Here we go. The meat candy, there are the burnt ends. Those are going to smoke for an hour at about 200 degrees. And then we'll be ready to go. See you soon. Thank you. Bye. Oh my goodness. All right. That is incredible. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now putting on the... Where's my knife? Uh-oh. We need an implement of destruction here. Or construction. In the meantime, see all the people here.
Those are just sit here because there's a guy here doesn't want to be. The guy here works top secret government stuff. He doesn't want to be on camera.
Okay.
The guy in the corner, he'll freak him.
He works for who?
Very top secret nuclear government stuff. Higher than what Marcella did. Weaponry. We're gonna cut all that out. I just want the meat.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, you'll edit that part out.
Marcella, keep this clear out. Come on, the other side.
Oh, look at the smoke ring on that sucker.
And then it can be changed variation of this way. But if you realign it, it takes the pressure off the side and allows that to go out.
Yes, I know Daryl, and I'm trying to think what.
This is all you want me to do is just keep what?
Yep. And then when I pull the pork, this is how you pull pork.
Oh my goodness, so you just strip it out? Beautiful. Hey Bradley. Hey Brad.
I'm having him film it for me. I think it's done. I'm gonna slide right behind you real quick, okay?
You want me to pull the garbage can over closer?
No, I want you to film this, okay?
No, but
I can't edit out the sound, so just let it go.
Tanya and I wrote, we wrote 10 things why you stage, and I threw in there as a joke many moons ago. It's far cheaper than your first introduction, and they're going to do that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's crazy. Dress it up. The millennials, they only look online, then they go. When they see
That means it's done right there, ladies and gents.
jump in. It is, it really is. My God. I hate to hear that.
So you can't trust the skinny, you can't trust the skinny chef, you can trust me.
He's Italian, right? 100%. He's 85. You can't tell him anything.
Okay, look at me. Okay, now. Look at me. Now I'm gonna videotape the cameraman tasting the meat. Give me 1 second.
The men are shocked.
Here, Brad. First, he's gonna try a burnt end. Just take one and try it. I love to get his reaction.
Okay, we better go.
I'm filming this whole one. Hurry up.
Don't drip. No second dipping.
I'm filming this one. Okay, come over here. Pulled pork. He can't even think straight.
Crazy. He should be fired. Fire him.
It's melting.
Thank you.